Welcome back to Telltale Books. This time, finally, after somebody has been asking for this for well over a year, Jurassic Park. I'm doing this on my own because, unfortunately, Emily has just been way too busy all year long and has not had time to do much reading with me. She's been doing some of the Philip Dick short stories, but it's because those are short stories. She can get those done a lot faster. So it fits into her busy lifestyle. So I finally thought, got to get this done. I've been promising it, and I've been wanting to read it anyway, whether I promised or not. So here it is, Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park. Who doesn't know something about this, at least from the movie? Though, as always, the book is a lot different from the movie. There's a lot in the book that you don't get in the movie. I think the book is, what's the word? A lot more gory than the movie in the descriptions and things that happen. But there's also some plot lines that are different from the movie. The first thing that popped into my mind upon finishing this is how much similar, not the same, not really parallel to, not really like it, but similar to it in certain key ways to something by H.G. Wells, and in particular The Food of the Gods. The Food of the Gods is very different from this. So don't go thinking if you love Food of the Gods that you're just automatically going to love Jurassic Park. No, very, very different. And Wells is making a point about accepting change in the Food of the Gods. The point of Jurassic Park is more about scientific responsibility, but that same scientific responsibility argument kind of applies to Food of the Gods. You know, the changes happen in Food of the Gods because scientists invent this food and it gets out there and people are eating it, and all of a sudden you have all these giant animals and giant people all over the place. Well, this one has giant animals, but of course the animals are not artificially increased in size. They're their normal size, but they are dinosaurs brought back through techniques of extracting genetic material from dinosaurs that have been encased in amber, and then combining them with, whatever pieces of DNA are missing, finding those pieces of DNA in existing living animals, most notably the fact that they use some frog DNA that plays a big part in the plot, and using that to regrow these dinosaurs and breed them and create this whole theme park where they hope, this billionaire hopes he can bring people in and they can tour it and see all the wonders of the past. And they've got T-Rex, they've got velociraptors, they got pterodactyls, they got stegosauruses. I mean, it sounds like a really cool place to visit. But of course, things go wrong. And without really spoiling it, this book is probably the most brilliant study of Murphy's Law that I've ever read. Everything that can go wrong does go wrong, and just keeps going from bad to worse until finally they do get a handle on things. Is very well plotted, very well paced, very fast paced, very thrilling, very much an adventure story. It's science fiction, but not, it's science fiction that's based on some of the kinds of research that people have been doing. They've been hoping to actually grow mammoths from genetic material that they've found. They're looking for ways to actually do this kind of thing, and they were looking for this and thinking about this at the time that Crichton wrote this book. So he did some research. He did embellish the research, so it's not all science fact. You can't take all the science in it at face value as, well, somebody's actually doing this. No, it is taking what people have been looking into now but have not accomplished and going, what if they accomplished it? And what if it was financed by this billionaire who wanted to recover his money by opening a theme park and letting people walk among these dinosaurs? Very, very interesting. I believe a lot of the facts about the dinosaurs is the best that we know for at the time that this was written. It's been a little while. When was Jurassic Park first written? Let me look that up quick. It's on Telltale's website. I just got to go to my authors list and find Michael Crichton. It's all alphabetical, so go scroll down to the C's. Right by Blake Crouch. And then scroll down to Jurassic Park, most of the way down, and it was first published in November of 1990. So for November of 1990, to the best of my knowledge, and I think to the best of Michael Crichton's knowledge, the science about the different dinosaurs is accurate. And it is, I believe it still is believed that dinosaurs are more evolved, are more early versions of today's birds than they are lizards. And that again figures a lot into the plot, that they're very bird-like in their behavior. So it presents a lot of really cool facts and speculation about dinosaurs, that, things that didn't know before, that had never been in earlier books I've read. And it also, at the time this was written, people were starting to get really excited about chaos theory. He brings that into it a bit as part of the justification for why things go south in the park so badly. And in particular, he quotes a specific paper that was written that Crichton had read and based the ideas about chaos theory off of that. So, but Crichton doesn't go so deep into all this science in the text of the book that you need a PhD to read it. The average person can read it perfectly well and enjoy it perfectly well. But like all science fiction, you have to understand that some of what you're reading is based on real science. Some of what you're reading is speculated from real science and isn't actually real in and of itself. And if you're not scientifically educated, you aren't going to know the difference just from reading the book. You have to go out on your own and investigate and study up on some of these things in order to tell the difference, in order to figure out what is science and what is science fiction in books like this. But just the approach to the book, basing it on scientific research, speculating further, speculating possibilities, taking it to a more extreme end, and then making a point about our world today, is so much what H.G. Wells did in all of his books, that I got the sense, when I finished reading this book, I got the sense that if H.G. Wells had written a book in 1990 about dinosaurs coming back to the modern world, this is the book he would have written. Michael Crichton seems very much like a successor to H.G. Wells in the way that he approaches science fiction. And for that, I fell in love with this book, of course, because H.G. Wells is the greatest in my mind. Nobody's better than Wells. Well, Michael Crichton comes really, really close to doing what Wells did, but in a very modern sense. I mean, it's not like reading an H.G. Wells book. It's H.G. Wells always got kind of preachy. Crichton avoids being preachy. H.G. Wells had fast-paced novels, but not like today's. Michael Crichton has a very fast-paced adventure tale, like any of the best of today's fiction. And of course, people act like today's people, not like Edwardian England. So it's very much a novel of today, but it still is very much, like I say, if H.G. Wells were living and writing today, this is the book he would have written. One of the books he would have written. And it would have been written in this way. So top tail easy. It was brilliant. I can see why it became such a hit. I can see why Spielberg wanted to film it. I can see the changes that Spielberg made to it, because it's obviously dinosaurs, kids are going to want to see it. But if he would have kept it as the book was, it would have been a little too intense for kids. So it is an adult book. It's a great book. Battery's flashing, so I got to cut this down. Got to finish this up now. I need a new camera. Somebody send me money for a new camera. So like us, subscribe to us, leave comments, come back for more. We'll be here with more books in the near future and far future, I hope. Bye.